Did you guys see how they changed that app on YouTube? I mean on Facebook, where you have to now, you know, how it says, what do you want to do in that little box? I don't know if you record in the rectangle. So it says, what do you want to do? You know, and then I figured out they changed the format, right? Before they had, I don't know, I like the other format better. I guess I like more of a vertical format. And this one is the bar across the bottom and you have to kind of swipe it. And, you know, I had to learn how to do that. But anyway, enough of that. Anyway, I got on and let me show you these beautiful flowers my friend gave me. My friend Rabitha. We ate at Ceres on Taylor Street. Oh my God, they have the best Indian food. I have to give them a, what is that called? A survey. They want surveys on every friggin' thing now. But I don't mind giving, you know, surveys when the food is really good. So yeah, it's been so warm in Chicago. I don't know where you guys are. But I'm in Chicago and we have a beautiful, sparkling sky. Plane going by and a beautiful little moon. Just started the new moon. So it was a new moon in Sagittarius. I think I said Scorpio, but it was like right entering in there, you know, so it was Sagittarius. So the energy right now, we're going to do a Reiki session and meditation. So I hope you're having a good Tuesday. I know everybody's going crazy with these holiday preparations, right? It's like, it's intense. If it's not the holiday preparations that are intense, like I want to do this and I want to do that and I want to go here and I got to buy that and I got to get this, right? You could do all these mantras, right? And they go on and on and on. And when the hell does it stop, right? I know this is not the best picture for me. My legs look like I'm huge, right? And that's okay. So we are going to do a clearing, right? Let me get positioned here better. You know, maybe I'll go sit in my rocker. Hold on. We're going to, okay, go to the bathroom. Let me grab a crystal because I finally got a chance to sit down and meet with you guys. So go get a crystal because the energy is super intense. So we just had winter solstice, right? So everything is shifting, you know, and I like the solstices because I like the equinoxes. I like the solstices. It's a nice time of transformation. So we have to look at that and use it wisely. All right. So let me sit over here. So this would be a little bit better sitting. And I think I'll be more comfortable too. My grandkids love sitting in my rocker. Okay. They love sitting in my rocker. Oh yeah, much better. Because they sat in my rocker and they watched a movie. I have Netflix. They watched, it was kind of a strange movie. I mean, the music, the sound was like, oh my God, I should have turned it down. It was just too high for me. I can't, this is why I don't go to movie theaters anymore. This is exactly why I cannot go to a movie theater. I can't handle all that bombardment of energy. It's just way too much. I have to stay around by plants and animals and flowers that people bring me. Oh, I got to show you this too. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it. Let me take a peek over here. We're going to do some Reiki and a meditation, so get ready. Get some water. Okay, hold on. I love that moon, right? That moon's tripped out, right? Where is that moon? I see a little flash right over there on the left, right? So I'm going to upload a photo of that. It's just too cute. All these are mysteries in the skies right now. Look at this. This is an amaryllis. You see how big it is? I should have had my grandkids measure it today. Yeah, they didn't measure it. So I may have to do it for them, and the next time they come, they can measure it. This is going to turn into a giant plant, but it's really beautiful, amaryllis. My sister-in-law gave that to me. So yeah, I think it's a good time not to overspend right now, even though we are overspending. I mean, some of us are overspending. And it's just like, it's such a rush of energy this time of year, right? Because you have all that spiritual energy going on and all the the decorations going around, and it's a lot going on. It's a lot going on. But let's eat healthy foods right now. I'm bringing this giant salad tomorrow to my daughter-in-law's house. I got radish sprouts. I might throw some celery in it too. I don't know. And I got different mixes of lettuce. Okay, so I'm going to take my midnight quartz. Get your crystal ready. You know what I'm glad about? I've been listening. Well, I didn't have a lot of time to go on YouTube today because I was with my grandkids. I said to my son, let's just take them to the park. It was such a beautiful day. It was like 41 degrees, right? So we took them. So I said, which park do you want to go to? And he says, we'll take them to the park by LL Woods. That's one of our favorite restaurants. We always eat there. And it looked like it was like super crowded. I mean, it was. The whole parking lot was pretty much full, right? There were like 2 spaces. And then my son didn't want them to go to the revolving door. I said, let the kids go through the revolving door. I said, remember, it's not a toy. Preventing them from doing something does not allow them to regulate their energy, right? So they have to learn how to regulate their emotions, their energy. Okay, we're going to go right into meditation. So like I said, and then I want to talk about the sound again, because a lot of people here, let me move this back. So we're in meditation. Hold on. All right, we went in fast today. I mean, I didn't even have to clear. Breathe in through your nose, and out through your mouth, and in through your nose, and out through your mouth. Remember to, as you exhale, to contract your belly. It'll help to burn the belly fat, okay? So, and it's always really good for expelling any stuck emotions. Like, I guess I came on a little strong today with my daughter-in-law, but in a nice, loving way. But sometimes I feel like my energy her mom came through, because, I'm a medium. So her mother came through right when I was talking to her. The energy got really, really intense. It was like building up and building up and building up. So a lot of your ancestors will come around right now. A lot of the spirits on the other side, or your friends or your family, and just talk to them. Pray for them, talk to them. I have, who I have always at this time of year, and I love it? I have a lot of my friends. I think I have about 5 friends who are acupuncturists with me in some form. So a lot of my colleagues are on the other side. So, when I have a medical question, I always talk to them. I feel like it's a whole committee of 5, So talk to them. Her mom came through. Well, wait, how did we say this? Oh, well, first we get interrupted, right? The dog was barking. She said she stepped on him by accident or something like that, and he cried. I said, why don't you pick him up? And then all of a sudden, all the energy got crazy, and the doorbell rang. You know how it is right now. It's like energy upon energy upon energy. That's why we're going to sit here and meditate. All right, so we're going to sit here and meditate because the energy is so powerful right now. It could sweep you off your feet. So this, I guess what I'm saying is, it's not a time to be swept off your feet. This is the time to be in the light. This is the time to be in the high energy, and don't let other people bring you down. And if somebody else is bringing you down, you have to talk to them, or you have to stop being around their energy. We have to make decisions here. All right, so when we meditate, you could spin around, right? So don't be afraid if your body is starting to move. I always call this my crystal starship. It's my crystal starship, baby. Because, we have this whole matrix around our body filled with light. We're basically swimming in the light. So let's swim in the light, Come on, this is a high holiday season. You see all these these blue meanies. You guys should watch The Yellow Submarine. That's what I should show my kids, The Yellow Submarine. I don't know if I could get that, but that's a good movie to have kids watch. Because there's blue meanies on the planet, right? There's blue meanies. And now the intergalactics are coming. So let's see. Let's focus on what we want to meditate and pray for tonight. Why do people think the rosary is just for Catholics? It's not just for Catholics. It's not just for Catholics. You start out like, I believe in God the Father Almighty, creator of heaven and earth. and his only Son, our Lord Jesus Christ. Now that might give some people a problem because they don't believe in Jesus Christ. But he's the Christos. He raised the dead. He multiplied the loaves and the fishes. He was about kindness and love and sharing and compassion. That's why he shed his blood for us. And I told you about the blood on that Eucharist. That blood on that Eucharist, when they did the DNA, it only showed the X chromosome, not the Y. Because he didn't have a physical father. All right, so yeah, so I don't know. My daughter-in-law thinks the Rosary is just for Catholics. I mean, I never thought about it that way, because when I look at India, and I spent a lot of time meditating with people from India, they had beads, to pray on or meditate on or say their mantras on. So I think every culture has its prayers, and I think that's what should be respected. But some of the ideology between all religions is kind of one-sided. So I think that's why people fight about their religions, is because they're comparing, how do I say this nicely? I don't know if there's a nice way to say this. I mean, you could compare the brainwashing aspect of every single religion. Because, okay, I'm going to say this, it's a little harsh. Every single religion brainwashes people on a certain level. So you have to decipher, well, what's the real meaning? What is all this about? What's the truth and what's the brainwashing part? Let's breathe in and blow out. Okay, I got what we're going to pray for. So yeah, so we're going to pray for these teachers are having. I should do another teaching. I'll talk about some teaching. So we'll do a meditation. We'll do some Reiki. Then if you guys got to go, I understand. And I'm going to sit and talk to the teachers, okay? So I'm going to try to be making more videos about teaching, because I was in it almost 34 years, and it ain't easy. Nobody said it was easy, but nobody said give up either. So, okay. Okay, so I want to pray for it. I want to meditate on. So, okay, so what I was talking about, the prayers, right? The prayers. God, I just had this really good ginger tea. Isn't that pretty? I got that in China. And comes with like a little lid. I cannot believe I packed this so well. It didn't chip, it didn't break. And it came all the way from China. It's gorgeous. Oh my God, I just gave my granddaughter her jewelry box. It plays music. It's so cute for her birthday. So it's a good time to share love. I'm getting older, so I'm letting go of things. All this material stuff, I don't know how you guys are. I think it's a good time to enjoy all your beautiful things, right? But I guess what I'm saying is I'm on this path where I don't need so many of these beautiful things around me anymore. What's important to me is a good, clean shelter and some place to grow food and good friends and neighbors, right? So we have to stay in that light. We have to stay in that force field. And that's another thing I was going to talk about, is you hear the ringing in the ear. And if there's a lot of YouTube videos on, they're all talking about the ringing in the ear, and I started talking about that, months ago? But everybody that's meditated can hear the ringing in the ear. It's not just me. I don't own the ringing in the ear. It's like when you go through meditation, the sound changes. And maybe I need to repeat it every time I'm on. I don't know. But you could hear a cricket sound. I think some of the earlier sounds were like a cricket sound, maybe a drum, possibly a frog. You're going to hear these different sounds, a flute. A drum, I said a drum, right? Maybe a clarinet. And then you get to the more complicated sounds in meditation. So as this turned into a satsang, what can I say? So I wanted to talk about the sound. So when you sit here and meditate with me and you feel yourself spinning and stuff, you're going to feel new sensations because I'm a transmitter, okay? So I'm just transmitting the energy. That's all I am. Most of our, well, I don't know, some are still in the receiver stage. But as you evolve and you get up to the fifth dimension, you become into the transmitter stage, okay? And then you can help out people that are still in the receiver stage, okay? So, I don't know. I hope that was clear. So, yeah, so let's put our thoughts into our crystals. I like this midnight quartz. I think I showed it to you before. It's got that creamy white quartz on the bottom. Yeah, I wish I could have been an archaeologist, but I'm having fun just exploring all these stones. So, in a sense, when you do crystals, right, it is a form of archaeology. You're learning about the frequencies here, right? But in a different way, in a different dimension. And then, okay, so listen to all you can about the sounds. I think that's really important right now when you meditate, if you're a serious meditator. If you think I'm just full of hot air, that's your problem. So what we're going to do is hold our crystal or our rosary or our beads or something that we love to hold when we meditate, okay? And we're going to focus on the children that the teachers are struggling with. And that's the what do they call it? The Gen Alphas. That's the problem. You should not let a Gen Alpha become an alpha, until they first realize what it means to be a strong person. Otherwise, it gets distorted. Then they use their strength in a negative way. Because they're exploring the world just like everybody else. And they've been bombarded with a lot of bad stuff, okay? I'm not going to explain the bad stuff on the computers. These kids in first grade know how, this is for the teachers. Yes. The kids in first grade know how to get on YouTube, people. So if you don't think your kids figured it out, don't be fooled, okay? You have to control what they watch and how long they watch it for. And in my classroom, we split it up between being on a computer and being in a small group. And then I had another center set up where they were learning how to write the words in English and in Spanish for different kinds of fruits and vegetables. I don't know if they were just in English or in Spanish. I think they were in English, but then they had the picture, the icon. So it's important to have kids have fun with writing. And I wrote always in a small group. I got them special little writing pads. They like the ones where you press the button and everything erases. And it comes with like a little stick. So every kid in my class, because I taught special needs students, I had kindergarten, first grade, second grade, third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade, sixth grade, seventh grade, and eighth grade special needs students. And I loved all of them. I mean, I felt so blessed to be in their presence because there was so much to help them with. You really have to open your heart because especially the beautiful autistic children, they give them the label, the autistic child, but that child is functioning on a different frequency. They're functioning more telepathically. So they don't always use words to communicate. They use their feelings, they use their emotions. You have to get down to their level and look at them and breathe with them and keep them in a calm space. And it sounds like, now I haven't been in a classroom since June, but I would like to sub in this Catholic school. And I am going to pay attention and I'm going to see, what goes on. I'm going to see if there's a difference right now because I just finished teaching. And I had all these grades. And all the things that the teachers talk about now, we've all dealt with it. We've all dealt with it. And I think it's a shock because people didn't realize the brutality sometimes of the job. How you could be assaulted on the job. I had a teacher, he was a musician, right? He was teaching music, and a kid threw the pencil, it flew across the thing and hit him in the eye and made him blind. So there's a lot going on, right? But you got to know who those loose cannons are in your classroom. See, I'll tell you something about the loose cannons. They like to throw stuff. They like to they'd knock over one chair in my room and that would be it for them. You have to put your foot down. You can't let these kids just go into this place of total wreckage. You really can't. You have to sit and meditate with them because they're as angry as hell. So you're missing the signals. See, because people look at destruction like that as being bad, but it's okay. We're going to breathe here for these children that destroy the classroom. We're going to pray for autistic children that are not being met emotionally and telepathically. Okay, we're going to pray for the Gen X generation and the Gen Z generation. Let's pray for all the generations. Like I said before, you're not stuck. You might have characteristics of one generation, but that doesn't mean everything about you is that generation. You know, you can take from other generations, you know. It's not the only, I love listening to 60s and 70s music, you know. But I mean, I love a lot of things that are going on now too. I love a lot of the podcasts people are doing. And I think YouTube, and I love it. I hope we protect our computer systems from sabotage, because otherwise we're going to lose communication. And this is a great tool of communication. So whoever the techies are out there, you know who you are. You better help people protect their computers. I'm thinking of getting that program. I do have WebRoot. I have WebRoot. And I'm thinking of getting Surfshark. Because then you could take your computer wherever you are. And it totally sounds like a computer game. It totally zaps that website. See, I think Pac-Man had it right. Very simple game. One of the first, right? One of the first computer games. You know, Pac-Man had it right. You have to destroy those blue meanies, you know. You know, and a lot of these people need to be deported out of the country. I'm sorry, I do agree. It's not being done in a finesse way. This is not a finesse job, and it's not perfect. And we've never had so many people in our country that were so effed up that came from other countries. They say they want to be here, and yet they preach hate. Then you can't have it both ways, baby. You either want to be here and help, you know, and be a positive solution to our world, or go somewhere else. And that could be the split. Listen to this. Oh my God, I just got this download. It's surprising me. You know, I'm really glad I could be here and share this with you, because you just helped me to realize something. So thank you, my audience. You just made me realize a lot of these people are self-deporting. Okay, this is what's going on. Should get something to drink over here. People are self-deporting, and then you see all this stuff splashed on YouTube. Oh, Minnesota, all these people, all this lady. She's still not out of our country, and she still preaches hate. That I'm on, right? Why is she so hateful? Because she's brainwashed. Okay, so there's a difference between being in the presence of a loving God and being in the presence of an ideology that brainwashes you. So I think we all have to just get back to our spirit, you know, because a lot of men created religions. And there's all so many different kinds, and then they all fight about them, you know. And it really doesn't matter in the long run. All that matters is clean water, a healthy earth, healthy children, good food, kindness and love and peace. That's all that matters. I'm sorry, I'm sounding too preachy. So that's all that matters, though. So what I see happening is, okay, this is a download. Pockets, you know what a pocket is. Like I remember at the Waldorf, I used to love to go to the Waldorf Fair right after Thanksgiving or around Thanksgiving. But then there was no elevator in the building and I couldn't walk up the stairs. So, there was this guy walking around and the kids would get these like little tokens, right? They had these, he was called Pocket Man. And he had this robe on with all these pockets. And in each one of the pockets was like a little surprise for the kids. And they'd have to give them their little token, and then they'd get the little prize. So what I see, and I just kind of sounded childish, but it was such a sweet idea pocket man, where you have your robe and then you have all your little pockets and you have like little surprises in each pocket. So the way I see it, our world, you feel like going into the meditation. This is going to be more of a talking meditation right now, and then we'll do the quiet meditation. So if you prefer the quiet meditation, just, I don't know, go make yourself a cup of tea. So by talking to you, it helps me emotionally and mentally because, I want to get a quick write machine and start writing again. But right now, I love the fact that I could talk on YouTube and I could do healings on YouTube. I mean, it's really a good medium. As long as it's not polluted with a lot of the satanic stuff. Okay, so that's where I see the separation between third world and fifth world. And people are asking themselves the question, well, how can this world be here and this world be here? I'm going to scratch my head like I don't really know what that means. But see, I think what that means, okay, and I'll meditate on this longer. But this is what I see happening. I mean, I think it's obvious what's happening. We just had a new moon. I thought it was Scorpio, but they say it's Sagittarius. Sagittarius is fire, right? So it's fast moving. You're moving into the year of the fire horse. Something that's going to move very rapidly. You're going to have Saturn and Neptune and Aries. So I like all that. I mean, some people might see it as war because of the Saturn and the Aries, right? But Aries, this is a new age right now. This is the age of Aquarius. So I don't see it as such a warrior sign anymore. There might be skirmishes in the third dimension, and this is what I'm saying. Where is the third dimension on this planet? Figure it out. Where are the third dimensions? Where are they? Where are the fifth dimensions? Where are they? That's what you want to ask. So what do you want to be a part of? Death and destruction and theft and murder and sickness and death? That's third dimension. Okay? Fifth dimension is amazing. I mean, I've experienced some of it. We're experiencing some of it when we meditate. You can experience the love you have around people. Because no matter how intense, although I should change that. I was going to know how intense the emotion is, we should feed it love. That's true. But then you have to know when someone's emotion is fueled by drugs or insanity. You never want to get in the middle of a crazy person's headset. Stay away. There's no boundaries there. They lost their boundaries. So those are third dimension people. They're stuck in drugs. They haven't ascended to the fifth dimension. The fifth dimension is not that whole realm anymore. It's shifted. So what else is going to shift? Those people in the loving fifth dimension, right? And we're in a state of transition. Will be moving to areas of the same vibration. It's not our choice. Like we're called to a certain area. You're feeling the pull. Like my son was saying, oh, I'm going to go to Texas at the end of January. I go, oh, I always wanted to go to, I did. I always wanted to go to Texas. He says, you have to get your passport. I go, yeah, I know. I'm still looking for it. It's just that I don't even really want to go anywhere right now. I don't like to go anywhere in the winter. I like to pray and meditate a lot. Because then you get into that whole spring and summer with the lawnmowers and all that crap, right? So, sorry for that. I mean, I really do feel like I'm going to probably relocate. I love my neighborhood here. I love my neighbors. We have really great energy. If you don't have great energy in your neighborhood, then you have to create it. And so let's do that. So that's what, okay, we're going to pray and meditate now. I'm going to shut up right now. If I missed a point, I'll go back to it another time. You know how I jump around sometimes. You got to keep up with me, baby. You got to keep up with me, baby. All right, so we're going to take our crystal. And I hope you did some of that massage where I showed you, right? You know, how you can, you know, my skin has been healing. I had some breakouts, And I've been using some of these oils, and I'll tell you, the oils are really healing. So, you can always, around your elbow area, you don't want a sharp point like you want to stick a needle in yourself, right? Unless you go to an acupuncturist. But you do want to have like a stone, a crystal, a quartz. It could be emerald, it could be ruby, sapphire, whatever you need for your healing, right? I like the midnight quartz because when I do meditation on YouTube, this clears a lot of, it's called midnight quartz. It clears a lot of entities. So in my home, I have holy water. I think it's good to have certain things around. So whatever, and they say you should sanctify your house. Okay, so the other homework assignment before we go into meditation, look at the videos about salt. I think his name was something Sarah, Sarah, Bishop maybe, Bishop Sarah. And he was talking about how you have to put salt in front of your doorways of all your rooms. You have to sanctify it and say a prayer over it. Whatever prayer you believe in, trust me, God, I want this kitchen to be sanctified and only healthy food be in this place. All your doors and windows have to have salt. You don't have to pour a whole jar, just a little few grains, right? Because what happens is salt is a crystal. Here I go on my science lecture. So since salt is a crystal, you should look at it under a microscope. It's amazing. So salt is a crystal, and it has, really good purifying vibrations. So I heard that before. Actually, I have a big hunk of salt in that corner of the room. So I did do some salt before, but it's always a good idea during this time of year now that we want to come clear for 2026. That fire horse, man, you want to be ready to fly. Okay, this is what I was saying, because Saturn in Aries, maybe during a time of a Pisces, that would be more warrior ships to me, fighting on the oceans and stuff like that, or just fighting in general, especially with Neptune, water, right? But I think now that it's in the Aquarian age, right, that we are in the Aquarian age, that I really think that this is going to be about a lot of inventions. And I saw another, I don't know, it was called Ankara or something like that. You could get this box, right? It's like a rectangle. That was really good too. This sweet little Korean couple, they came to Chicago. I had to watch it. And they brought their babies. Adorable families. My heart just, oh my God, it's so good to see something healthy and loving. Okay, so let's think healthy and loving. Healthy and loving. So the vibrations are changing, and you could feel the intensity of it, especially if you sit down and shut off your head. Because this lady was saying on YouTube, I had to watch her. She had a short, and she goes, why am I, my mind is like spinning around. I can't fall asleep till 5 o'clock in the morning. Well, I think it has to do with being on a computer too long, too. But so you have to try, see, I like to meditate before I go to sleep. I like to pray and meditate, because then you really get into that deep stillness. I mean, you don't have to do it for an hour, even like 10 minutes. Just be called to that space of quietness, because how are we going to receive the downloads? You have to be cleaned up, baby. You got to purify, right? You don't want to put dirty wires out there. So let's do some meditation. I think I need to do some Reiki. Yeah, I want you guys, if you're feeling overstressed, right? If you're feeling overstressed, and sometimes my voice will go up because it's an emotion, right? It's a feeling. And then when people are overstressed, they don't really hear what you're saying. So that's another thing about the children. Before we do the meditation, I just want to talk a little bit more about the kids. Here, let me do some Reiki. So this is a time to get clean, right? This is a time to purify our homes. Let's clean it up, make it shiny. Do something beautiful for yourself, something you haven't done. So yeah, I think we have to be more attuned to the expression of people. What are they showing you? I mean, 3-dimension, you're going to see it right away. 3-dimension, people are very confused. They don't know what they are. They don't know. They think they're like, one girl, he said to her, who are you? And she goes, I am an I am. And there's a truth to that. We are I am. We are an I am. Because she's talking about the divine presence. So, I mean, I could kind of understand what she was saying by she was saying I am. And then he was saying, and then he blessed her with Jesus, and he said, there's only 2 sexes, the male and the female. But see, now I don't know if that's true anymore. Because when I found out that Eucharist, that Jesus was right in the Eucharist, and they took his DNA, and he only had the X. There was no Y chromosome. So his father was a spirit. His father was divine energy. Probably an intergalactic. I think Jesus, I think all these people that were really amazing beings, they're like more intergalactics. All right, so we're going to do meditation. And I don't know how you feel about that. You can process that. All right, so let's breathe in. Breathe out. All right, so we're just warming up the sacroiliac joint. That's the seat of the Kundalini. You all heard of the Kundalini. I call it the golden spiral. Same thing. The serpent. See, a lot of people have theories about the serpent in the Garden of Eden. They feel that the serpent was wisdom. And that's why on the 2 caduceus, you know how the doctors have that symbol? It's like a stalk, and then it has the snakes around it, the caduceus. The snake is supposed to be wise and for healing, So I'm more a Native American in that way. I believe you're all shedding our skins right now. And we're going to be moving to our favorite 5th dimensional space. So if you're done where you are, you're done, and you know it, you're out, okay? And just be done with it. So when you come to that point, you'll know. And then because maybe everything around you is too much 3D, right? And you don't want to be around 3D. Maybe you want to be just around 5D. Or maybe, like I feel like I'm in 5D over here, maybe I want to move to another 5D area. So what you have to do is go there and kind of feel the vibes. I think my ideal 5D environment would be closer to nature. I mean, I love around here. You have access to everything. I mean, it's amazing. It's really, really amazing. So let's pray. We're going to pray first. I'm going to pray in my head. You can pray in your head and in your heart. Surround yourself with the violet light of purification. We should do that head, heart, that prayer. What was that? Head, heart, and mind. That's what it is. Mind, heart, and soul. It's all the same, right? So anyway, we want to come into that space. So the energy is going to change in your body. You're not just going to stay in your sacroiliac. So let's just see how many changes we can learn from today. And like I said, your homework is to look at the salt thing, about spreading the salt. And the other one, what else do I want you guys to listen to? God, that was a good one, that one on the salt. I was like blown away by it, but it makes a lot of sense because salts are crystals and they purify the air. And that's why I always have one of these going. I don't know if you have one of these. Let me show you this. I don't know how well I'll get it in focus. We're going to do a meditation. Give me 1 minute here. Ursa Major. So yeah, you have these, probably it's kind of blurry, salt rocks, right? Salt rocks. So yeah, it's important to put that on. And then in front of the salt rocks, I have, I don't know, did you guys see that? Okay, let me bring it back. I don't know if you can really see it. Let me get a better angle. In front of it, you see, there's like a little tiny crystal in front of the salt rock with a cross on it. And I keep holy water in there. So I think this is a great time to bless your home, bless your lives, you know, whatever you can get in there. It's sacred. It could be a Native American. I have to show you guys sometimes my Native American hawk feathers. They're just beautiful. But yeah, I'd like to live in more of a natural setting, and I have a piece of land, and I'm thinking, yeah, I'd really like to break ground on it. I'd really like to build something. You know, it'd be nice to have some place to go to that would be surrounded all in nature. All right, so let's do a meditation. So I think what's happening, that's why some people are moving to Thailand, and some people are moving from Thailand to America, and some people are moving from Canada here, or from us to Canada, right? So there's all this like inner migration going on right now. But it's not just about the ethnicity or the race, whatever you want to call it. I can't even think of those terms anymore. They're so archaic. Okay, so similar people's energy are going to be living in similar spaces. So you're going to attract those people to your space. And then if you've attracted a lower vibration, that person's there so you to help him transcend. Because you're probably the one in your area that's the light worker, and the light workers always have to do some work. So yeah, so you have somebody in your environment that's like, you know, kind of in the dark, right? Like kind of a shadow person, very 3D. Then just kind of pray for him to come into 5D. You know, don't fear anything right now. Don't fear anything. Be aware. Allow your energy to come into its spiral. Allow yourself to heal all your sicknesses. It's in your emotional body. You have to get it out of your emotional body. That's where it's stuck the most. So let's just allow it to come out of our emotional bodies. I'm going to do some clearing in a few minutes. Breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. I'm so glad I could be with you here meditating and praying and doing Reiki. Oh my God, I feel so centered when I'm doing my work. And that's what the purpose is. The purpose should be full of joy. It should be about communication. It should be about a love. You know, you have to find your life's purpose, right? I don't know if I'll be doing as many YouTube presentations when I start writing my book. So I just want to say that. Because I got to get working on my book. Unless I can discipline myself to do some YouTube and some book, right? All right, so let's go a little deeper into meditation. And sometimes you feel yourself get thirsty when you meditate, and that's okay, because your inner core is like heating up, you know. You're spinning that chi. It's good for your health. Very good for your health. So it's not just, oh, I'm healed, I want to be healed, I am healed, but then in your heart you feel, no, what am I saying? You can't have duality. You know, you have to take away the yin and the yang. You have to be in a center, right? So you have to stay in your center. I said that before, like a record on a record player, going around and around. So when the spirit comes through you, the sound you're going to hear is going to change. You might get a message from your loved one. Okay, that happened to me. I don't know if see, when I decided to write my book, I have to get organized. So I'm playing in my head, oh my God, it's so linear, you know. I mean, I wish I could speak it and it would type it out accurately, but the problem with the speaking part, they always make mistakes, right? And then it's so frustrating. And I can't type on a computer because I type faster than the computer moves. It's like more tick, 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 tick. I just can't type like that. I have to, so I'm going to look at getting a quick write machine. All right, so your energy is going to change. The frequency that you're hearing is going to change. You're going to feel, let's do this again. Take your ball of light and breathe into it and out of it slowly. Feel the energy between your fingers. They're buzzing like crazy, baby. Feel the energy between your fingers. No, you don't have neuropathy. You're healing your body. So let's hold these together and do some breathing. Let's do a breathing meditation where we're feeling the energy go from one side of our body to the other side of our body as we're getting more balanced. This is a download from Ashtar. See, the thing is we have to trust in who we are. That's the thing. If you don't know who you are, then you're like lost in the forest, right? So you have to come to that center of meditation and find out where your center truly is. Where's your joy, right? Where's your joy? It's not about, oh, if I could have $1 million. No, where's your joy? Okay, now that you're charged up, right, you can feel that energy, right? Okay, just wait, hold on. Just continue a few more minutes here. I want you to slowly release apart. Like you're pulling taffy or slime. And then I want you to very slowly bring your fingers back together. So now you're feeling your polarities, right? Then you could take those polarities and put them on a space of healing. Because it's like you're sanctifying your body. So if you want more circulation in your legs, you have to put that energy on your legs. You have all the energy in you to do whatever you want. This is divine movement right now. So hop on board. Hop on those Hallmark movies. I'm addicted to those. Oh my God, one's starting in 10 minutes. All right, guys, let's do one more 10-minute meditation because then I got to go watch. I got to get my YouTube, what is it called? Yeah, my Hallmark fix here. Oh my God, I feel so full. I almost ate 2 banana pancakes. And then we went out. Well, I had fish. That was pretty healthy. Cauliflower. That's not too bad. But, of course, then you have a drink, with gin. Although gin is the healthiest tonic for your liver. If you're going to drink, it's better to do gin because it has all those herbs in it. No, you shouldn't really drink at all. But I'm just saying, if you're so inclined to have a drink once in a while, I'm not telling you to go out and drink, so don't get me wrong on that. But they're just saying, as it goes, gin is very healthy compared to all. I don't know, I think alcohol has its purpose. Because if somebody's really got the chills, there's nothing like hot ginger tea, right? With some whiskey in it or brandy, because it moves your circulation. All right, so let's finish. Let's clear. Going to go a little deeper into meditation. So, let all those dead emotions flow off your feet, like shells just going back into the ocean. Yeah, and then we're going to put our prayers and our meditations to heal our waters so that people don't have wars over water so they can learn how to share. And I think more people have to get rain barrels. I should probably get one put on over here. All right, guys. So we're going to go deeper into meditation. So if you want to run to the bathroom, come back. And like I said, you could, okay, this is the other thing I was going to say. Okay, we did the hand movement with the energy. So yeah, you're going to start, you might feel energy in different parts of your body. So just be receptive to it, okay? That's all I'm saying. And you can do a mudra. There's different mudras for different purposes. And the way I would say, okay, when you do a mudra, like I went like this, and that felt pretty good. I didn't have any tugging or tightness. And then I went like this, and I said, oh, you know what? This is tugging in here. So then this is the mudra that I want to work on during meditation, because there's like a blockage when you put your fingers like that. So that's my mudra. My mudra is the middle finger. Okay, so then you move on to your ring finger, right? See, that mudra feels pretty good on me. This one I always could work on. I like this one whether it feels good or not, because this is your small intestine heart. So when you, yeah, this is, I might do this one because I don't know if you feel any energy there, but I feel a lot of heat. All right, so we're going to go, so I'm going to do this one, the small intestine and the heart. And we're going to also, so whatever you want to put into your meditation as a prayer, just add it on in. Mine is the Generation Alpha. That will definitely press your buttons. But like I said, it's not just Generation Alpha. It's all the generations push your buttons. Because it's always the kids who's lost. There's always 3 or 4 kids that are really lost in the classroom. Now, if there's 50, no, let's say you have 30 kids in a classroom. If 15, then there's an issue. Then you really have to stand up for your rights, and you have to get somebody else into your classroom. I think, because when I was a special needs teacher, I said, hey, you're giving me 5th graders, and you're giving me 11. And now my law kicks in, and I need somebody in the class with me. I think it's once you have more than 10 special needs students, then you have to have somebody legally in the room with you. So, and I always felt I had support at well, not always, but I mean, for the great percentage of the time, right, at my last school. The things I have a problems with the hierarchy is they don't really get the time, they don't take the time to know their teachers. They don't, if they want to get to know their teachers, they should spend an entire day in the classroom with that teacher. Because otherwise it's like people walking around with a clipboard or computer. No, they're on a computer, right? And they're taking notes of every single thing you say or do. It's neurotic. It's neurotic. I mean, okay, that's my IMO. That's my opinion. This is for teachers, right? We're still going to do the meditation, but this is for teachers, right? In my opinion, that's ridiculous, right? All the testing that they're giving these kids is totally unnecessary. They're spending maybe one test at the end of the year every year. One test, that's it. That's it. You get one at the end of 8th grade, you get the one at 7th grade. That's it. You just get one at the end of the year. These companies are sucking. This is why education is falling apart. They're spending too much money on all this stuff, and it's frou-frou. They took the power away from the teacher. They gave the power to the machine. It's just like so one-sided. Because that's how a lot of my special needs kids don't function. They don't function like that. They just don't function like that. They function from the heart and from the mind. They're functioning on a soul level, a telepathic level. You think dogs and cats are telepathic and psychic? Yes, they are. They're part of the angel family. Kids are like 100 times more than that. So, yeah, that's why I want to see what this generation looks like. I mean, it looks like, I don't know, there's always going to be a classroom that are super challenging. You got to learn how to work with those kids. I mean, that's all it comes down to. You have to create a pathway to reach the kids. And if you're not getting the support you need, then go to a different school. Go on strike. I mean, I went how many strikes? I'm so glad I retired. I mean, I miss the kids. Desperately, I miss the kids because I love those children. They were just so open. When you're around them, you're not around all the drama of the adults, all the destruction of the adults. When you're around the children have been loved and are in love, they're just pure energy. They're just pure divine energy. But then there's those children where the walls crash down and you have to reach them. Even if you reach them for 1 month, that's it. Don't put a time factor on it. These kids that are wounded will take a while to warm up to you. But if you're honest and you're true and you spend extra time with them, even just write a slip home and say he's going to have to stay with me after school. I mean, talk to your counselor, talk to your social worker, talk to your psychologist. You have to lean on people. Otherwise, these people are going to be on YouTube in offices. I'm not saying everybody, but, sometimes there's a lack of, I never felt that at my school. I felt people, and that's what I said to my principal, the one that I left at the end of the year. I said to her when she first started at my school like 6 years ago, I said, you have a good staff working here. And you can have a great staff and an honest staff. But then, I don't know, then things get ugly. There's this breathing down your neck, micromanaging. It's wrong. And, I could have taken somebody to court. I did take one principal to court. I couldn't believe it. It was in the beginning of my year, the beginning of my career, right? That's a whole story in itself. The different schools that I worked at and what happened there. So while I'm writing my book, and we are going to do a meditation right now. Oh my God, let's go. So, but I have to get organized. All right, breathe in and breathe out. And breathe in and breathe out. Use that belly. Contract it. And, just say a prayer to yourself. Lord, I want to do good for the world. My guardian angel, I want to do good for the world. I want to help people. How can I do that? How can I be of the highest service? Dylan said it. It's all about service. That's all it's about. It's all about service. So how can I bring more music into people's lives? How can I bring more joy into their lives? How can I bring more food and clean water into their lives? How can I bring more tiny shelters into their lives? I'll tell you, the wealthiest man on the earth may not be a millionaire, but it will be the man who brought shelter to the homeless. And they're doing it. They're doing it in Texas. I've seen these places on YouTube. It's amazing. Okay, it's a shelter, right? It's like a storage shed, but it's a beautiful storage shed, okay? It's a shelter. It doesn't have to be a 5-bedroom house. These people need to get out of the elements. They need help. And then they have an area. See, this is where they need to repurpose the malls. Why would I say repurpose the malls? So anybody who has real estate money out there, I mean, wouldn't that be a great idea? You buy yourself a mall. Oh, and then you get investors. That's what you do. You get investors. You get investors involved in it. And the mall would be run like a hotel, right? I mean, everybody would have their own little place to stay. But the mall, it would have some rooms maybe for women and children. And, the malls always have bathrooms. So that's really part of their infrastructure, right? And the malls could serve, is if people got a business license to maybe sell products eventually, but they would get counseling there. So you have a counselor to come in. So that area, that center, you can give it a name. And then you have people come in for healing. So I think that's what's important right now. I think the message of this meditation, right, is to have our purpose ready to go here. Because, man, the fire horse, I think of a reddish blonde horse. I was so grateful I got to ride horses when I was growing up. I actually got to ride a few horses. There's nothing to replace it. And then I was on this really black stallion, and he was just beautiful. Beautiful black stallion. And after I got done riding him, nobody told me. I was going to get down, I was going to get off of him, and he started to roll down to his side so I could get off of him. And I got off pretty quickly because I didn't want him to roll over on me. So I don't know if that's something natural that a horse does. But I feel like at this point in my life, I need to be more around horses. So, and that's what's nice about my piece of land in Eagle Ridge Territory. It's, they have a beautiful golf range. The only thing is they spray. That's the only thing I don't like. And then they have like this fishing pond. Now, I don't know if that's catch and release. I don't know what it is, And then they have a horseback riding stable. So it's a very pretty area. And I think I talked about it in one of my earlier YouTubes, that I kind of have this fantasy. I mean, God's going to have to do it for me because there's no way I can do it. He's going to have to help me create it because I don't know what I'm doing. It's like Noah's Ark, All right, let's do one more meditation, a quick one. All right? All right. Actually, you know what? Let me just finish with a Reiki blessing again. All right, so let's stay in our centers, right? And I hope you're learning something from this, okay? And I love you guys. And look out the window. You might catch a glimpse of the moon. Catch a glimpse of the moon. You see it up there? It's in the corner. Oh, okay, I do have to get a better camera. Love you guys. Have a safe Tuesday, healthy Tuesday. Get lots of sleep and drink a lot of water. I love you.